My name's Kathleen Iles. I've been doing the Tack Collector for 20 years in January 2026. 19 years of flowing by. I don't have my own horse anymore. She was vital to the business because she really influenced policies like the 7-day trial. Saddle fitting for her was almost impossible. Luckily, my parents endorsed me loving horses. So since I was a child, so over the last 100 years, I love the diversity I've had in the horse industry. Everything from pony club to trail riding, pack trips, riding and showing my own horses, as well as being a professional groom for international riders. That was very cool. Blacksmith competitions, actually, it's amazing seeing how that relates to the horse world, how important that is to have good solid feet and then work your way up. I love horses. Just a crazy horse chick. Um, we were at a horse show and I don't like going fast. And we actually were jumping a course and going fast. It was so much fun. And then the very next day, it was raining and she was very stressed. So she went from a extra wide saddle to a medium, which I didn't think of at the time, back to trust your gut. And we had the best gallop, and I don't like oxers on their own. And it was an oxer on my harder turn, big square oxer, and it was right there, and I saw it. And I usually don't see my distances right away. Take me a long time to realize, but it was there. And we came around the turn, and it was there. And she left the ground, and my saddle went off to the right. And I managed to stay with her over the jump, but I didn't afterwards. Landed, slid about, I don't know, 2 strides on my back. She continued through the combination, which I still think was like, because she felt it too. It was just the most connected moment I think I had with her. It was also the most traumatic because I ended up with a concussion that it took me a long time to realize how bad the concussion was. But that one sticks with me a lot because that moment of it's there. So in hindsight, I should have done a bunch of different things. I should have checked the fit of my saddle. And I should have made sure my girth was not the one it was because it was raining and all those factors. So it's amazing. It was such a good, amazing episode and life altering at the same time. And so that was a pivotal moment for me here with saddles and tack and experiences that you kind of wish you never had, but are super helpful for other people. It's like you need to be keeping an eye on stuff. It's very fun to help somebody get themselves set up. Everybody who comes in loves horses. That's very heartwarming to be able to help make a horse's life more comfortable with blankets, grooming equipment, helping them find a bridle that doesn't break the bank either. We get everything from new to really used. We will accept really used just because then if somebody's willing to put in a little elbow grease, they can get a quality product for a little bit of time investment. I think that that's really important to offer a huge range of products for everybody. So it's not just pigeonholed. It's been the really fun thing about being in the industry for so long. I've seen pretty much all the fads and all of the different styles, products, what works, what doesn't, what's new. Another fun thing in all the years, I've seen so many interesting apparatuses come in to try to help people be able to fit their saddles themselves, from plasticine pads to cardboard cutouts to electrical wire. The Tack-Tek app, I think, is so exciting because it actually will show you where you can see it, because even though those apparatuses will show you on the saddle, it doesn't show you on the horse. And then there's so many opinions of how things fit. Again, perfect isn't really attainable, and long term it isn't as well, which is also why I think the app is so exciting, because horses in a stressful situation can really change shape quickly. To have that capability to be able to go, okay, yeah, I'm seeing more gapping, and be able to do something about it before something can happen. Because with an ill-fitting saddle, you go into the ring, bad stuff can happen if it's not fitting. And it's not always easy to have a saddle fitter come and do something for you the next day. So I think the way technology is evolving really is important to work with the traditional saddle fitter as well, because I think for them, they can be able to show it and say, this is what I'm seeing, this is what I did, this is how it is on your horse. I think it's a good backup for them as well. There's so many variables, so many opinions on what fits. We don't offer saddle fitting services. I feel that that's a vested interest in getting them to work or not work. We can narrow it down, even though we have so many, can narrow it down to 3 or 4 saddles fairly quickly. How they're stamped and how they measure and fit are 4 different things. So there's no consistency with the manufacturers as well. So we've kind of come up with our own system for measuring them. So at least that there's a common point, and essentially the first point of contact is where we will measure the width of our saddles. There's such inconsistencies across everywhere, every brand, every saddle fitter, as far as where they measure and how they're measuring. So somebody will come in and ask for an extra wide saddle. It may not truly be extra wide. We have so many customers that come in looking for that perfect fit, or hear the horror stories of them trying to find the perfect fit, having a saddle custom made. By the time it arrives, it doesn't fit, and or it will be, they have it for 6 weeks, it's really great, then it's not. And perfect is not perfect. It is really difficult to stay that way, because horses are always changing, whether they traveled or they've gained weight, lost weight. They're just so much of a active being that it could be perfect today and not tomorrow. So I think that looking for what is functional and useful, that then has some ability to be interpreted and then adjusted, which is then where the app comes into play too. Maybe over the weekend you need to add something to it or take something away while you're waiting for your saddle fitter. We have better luck trying to find something that is functional than perfect. And I think that that's unattainable. We end up asking them a bunch of questions, particularly what their horse is like, how they are built, their breeding, their age, what they've tried that hasn't worked, as well as any recommendations by a saddle fitter, any saddles they've tried that have or haven't worked. It's super fun because we get to know horses quite well. We use tools. We have pictures that we ask them for. On our saddles, we also have like a red tag where I put a bunch of research information on there to say what their serial number is, what it is that it fits for horses and for riders, help narrow down the search. They use the saddle bucks. Once we see what seems to fit them, then we do offer a 7-day trial so that they can go out and see how it fits their horse and how it rides for them too, because it could be perfect for their horse, not so great for them. The 7-day trial I developed for my horse because she was odd, and most horses are. So perfect is not horses. We always look at our horse, but we don't look at ourselves too. So you could have the best fitting saddle, but if you're not riding straight, horses get the fitter, they get the chiropractor, they get the physio, they get the farrier. What do we do for ourselves as riders? And we see that in a lot of saddles that come in. The rider themselves isn't straight, and so then that creates issues too, which adds to the perfect problem. Because if it's perfect for the horse but the rider isn't comfortable, there's that negative effect as well. So I think, again, back to the app, for it to be able to show how that is starting to change for the horse, you could create more productive results without there being a whole bunch of negative issues, because I think that's what happens. You get into patterns that end up hurting the horse without meaning to. It's taken me a long time to be able to stand semi-straight. And that's been an issue with my riding. And through doing this, really recognize how not trusting my gut, also not paying attention to my own issues. And we see it a lot in saddles that have come in or they've changed for the horse. A lot of times it is rider created. And it's hard to see. So again, visually, the app is, I think, extremely exciting to be able to pinpoint stuff sooner. Back to the app, it is so exciting to think of the bottom part of it being analyzed, because like with vehicles, you should be checking your brakes, getting your oil done. We don't do that as much with saddles as we should. And especially the wool flock saddles, they compress really easily because they're nice and soft. So they're comfy to ride in, but then that makes them fit wider than you would want sooner. If I had had mine checked, I would have known that not only had she lost weight, but also my saddle was fitting wider to start with. The whole thing. So I guess it as a whole, I'm very excited to let people know about as well. I'm not the only one who's a visual learner, the only one who's a visual explainer. I mean, I have so many little tools that I use around the shop, including straws, to try to show straightness. So I'm super excited to be able to encourage people to use something that allows them to learn on their own as well. Create some independence. I'm a visual person myself, so to be able to see where it is and isn't fitting, to be able to show, especially with saddles, they aren't necessarily straight. To be able to show that as well in a method that's indisputable. There's so many opinions in the horse world. I think it's really going to be amazing to have an unobjective analysis of this is actually what's happening. So I think it'll be amazing to be able to take a picture of the underside of the saddle and use that tech to match it and be able to say, yeah, no, this one doesn't have enough wither clearance. This one, we need a wider panel. This one, the angle is off. I think that the two working together would make it so much easier, because again, we can narrow it down to 3 or 4 saddles. Sometimes we get lucky and it's 6, but that might reduce it to 1 or 2 to find that better fit. And then having them sit on the saddle bucks narrows it down for the rider too. So if we can find what's looking good for the horse, then the rider gets their say in it too, which to the 7-day trial, we love that aspect as well, because then they could take it. We've used it at the shop to compare to the panels. Now it goes to the barn and you can check it there too, and then ride in it and make sure it actually feels good for the rider, because it can be perfect for the horse, but if it doesn't feel good for the rider and their balance is off, then it's not going to fit that horse very well. So then back to the drawing board we go. But I think that helps to really narrow down the search, because it can be frustrating to try to find a saddle. Not very often is it first time lucky. I think that actually would help make the odds better in the rider's favor. Yeah. That, and then also for straightness, like I think to be able to show that the saddle itself is straight, that an underside would be able to show what we're seeing. It is a difficult conversation to have, that a saddle is not straight and it's not sitting on a horse properly either. There's unfortunately a large volume of them out there that aren't straight. We've seen that in every brand, age, condition. It's not a specific issue to the manufacturers. There are some common things, but also rider asymmetry, horse asymmetry will twist them. Sitting around for too long will twist them. Again, we've seen them everything from brand new to really used. So to be able to have that strong physical evidence that this is what is going on with your saddle, I think it would help too when they are new saddles to be able to go back to the manufacturer and say, please assist me with this, because right now there is a warranty issue with that. It shouldn't be opinion based. It should just be factual, but it's very difficult when it's coming from a person. I think an app, and this app in particular, will make it very clear, very cut and dry. This is what we're seeing. And for the consumer who's going out there and being on Marketplace or Kijiji, to be able to have that aspect to then check the saddle, make sure it is straight before they give somebody a bunch of money and now they've got issues because it's not sitting properly. That causes problems with the horse and the rider. No matter how much money you spend on it, you want to be riding for it to be pleasant and not a negative experience. So I think the straightness is a huge, huge issue. And most of us don't know about it. When I started doing this, it wasn't something that I really was aware of. As the years have gone on, it's crazy how many saddles aren't straight. And we've been doing the numbers and we thought it was like 60, 70% is what it is that we turn away. We don't make money by turning away saddles. A lot of times we'll reference that they should reach out to a saddle fitter and have them actually open the saddle to confirm, is it the tree? Is it the piping? Is it the panels? Sometimes they can do something. I think a lot of times they can't. And it is, I think, scary to find that a lot of them are out there still to be sold as a usable saddle when they shouldn't be. So I think to protect future sales, I know it hurts the pocketbook, but also ethically, it shouldn't be something that's being used. And ethically, it is a detriment. I know of horses that haven't been as productive as they could have been because it's unpleasant. It hurts. Yeah. Keep learning. Be open to learning new things, trying new things. The saddle fitting world and saddles haven't really changed for a long time. There are more and more advancements and saddles that are coming out that are different. And I think that by being open, trusting your gut, and always wanting to learn, there's some really awesome. Go forward. Things coming up.